Mauricio Pochettino, what do you see when you see him? Because even when we score and the camera cuts him on the sideline, he looks frustrated. He looks underwhelmed. He almost looks like a man aware of the size of the task ahead of him. We're going to be candid. Reminder, the man is Argentinian. He knows what the Argentinian players do to represent their nation. They kill opponents. Honestly, they kill each other to compete to wear that jersey. They do anything and everything to represent their nation. And I know Mauricio is shocked that the American players, the big ones, the big names, do not feel the same for their national team. I know that was a massive adjustment. I think he's completely befuddled by that. He's clearly still adapting to international management as opposed to the club game. How do you think he's experiencing it all?
If I were Mauricio Pochettino, I would probably go into this thinking this is not what I thought it would be. This is not what I thought international football would be. This is not what I thought the U.S. men's national team program would be. He is of Argentine descent. There is an immense pride that comes with not just representing the country, but football in itself. Culturally, it is very different. And the thought of anybody not being able to represent their country for any reason, is probably above their capacity of reasoning. That said, the same coach who's taking his own liberties, the same coach who decided to leave guys off that probably could be here, and maybe he's doing it to prove a point. We could talk about Joe Scally. Joe Scally is easily a first choice right back on this team, a first choice left back on this team, a first choice third center back on this team. Austin Trusty, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Marlon Fossey. What happened to Lung? You know, like where did he go? There are 20 plus European players not here. And I'm not saying the MLS player cannot compete, but there are players who have put their time in multiple camps, put their time in Europe to prove themselves that they are of a different cloth, and they were excluded. Now, we don't know the reasons. Maybe he's sending a message, and I'm very eager to see the fallout. I'm very eager to see if this works. But Mauricio Pochettino right now is most likely thinking, this isn't what I thought it would be. And he's realizing how complex it is to be an international coach in CONCACAF, where things aren't always what they seem.
Do you make it sound like Jack Nicholson in Chinatown? And we all know how that ended. But I want to pick up on your point about the players not there. Because this is something that's been gnawing away at me really for the couple of weeks of the tournament. I adore this US team. I have dreamed with so many of you listeners, and we continue to dream. These games have been, let's just say, unelectric. And so many of our big players are not here. Yes, some are on club duty. Others didn't show up. Others still, you've named them, were not picked. Josh Sargent, another one who wasn't picked. Austin Trusty. Joe Scally, as you say, Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think Poch was hoping that these MLS understudies would step up, carpe diem, play hungry, fight, struggle, do what he said, young, hungry, create a new culture around the team to almost to replace the one that he inherited, which speaking even to the players and those around the team, they all use one word. Everyone I've spoken to uses the word complacent or complacency. I think he wanted to change all of that this summer, and then he can pick and choose as to whom he invites back into the fold. But let's be honest, this team have not really brought it in the way he wanted. So what does he do now? Or how does it work? You understand it. You're a player. When he has to pick up the phone to, let's say, Josh Sargent or a Joe Scally or even a Yunus Musa, does he call them up again? Can he return to them? Isn't that awkward?
No, I don't think it's awkward. I think it's business. I think that's what a national team is. Your number is called upon, you go. And it doesn't matter what the history is there, what type of water is under the bridge. This is for your country. This is for an opportunity to play in the World Cup. You go. And nothing matters. It's about business and business only. I think Mauricio Pochettino understands that. Now, I'm hoping message sent, message received, and you can move on. You and I were talking about, and we've spoken about this at length a bunch of times. It doesn't feel like people are behind this team. It really doesn't feel that way. And I think we can both agree the U.S. men's national team is not given the people something to care about. they're not a likable team at the moment. This isn't a likable tournament at the moment. And when I say that is, back in my day, you play the Gold Cup, and that's all you would play. There was no Nations League. You're getting this second tournament whiplash, if you will, or fatigue, coupled by the Club World Cup and what that's been, and the images of Boca fans, River fans, Brazilian fans, Egyptian fans, Japanese fans, Messi, the heroics. And then you go, and I was at the stadium, Saudi Arabia versus U.S. men's national team. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, Q2 is amazing. Austin's an amazing city. What happened to this fan base? What happened to what this is supposed to be? It was an empty stadium. There was more propaganda for visit Saudi Arabia, than ex-players there trying to pump up the fans. And I say this because you go to a Mexico game, Karel Borghetti is going to be at a tequila stand, brushing it up with fans. Osvaldo Sanchez is there, doing the same thing. And it's like, here at U.S. Soccer, it's like, these guys are on their own. We just sold this. Now we're done. So fans don't have anything to get excited about. And in today's climate, I looked up the tickets. It's like $150 to get into that game. I wouldn't have paid $150 to get into that game. So at the moment, Mauricio Pochettino needs to figure out a way to galvanize the public, to get them to be behind this team. Because I repeat, they're not a likable team.